So welcome back, guys. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. It's another new video on this beautiful day. Today we have decided to cover a very important topic. We've been asked for so many years, and also it's the most asked question in our DMs, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And also I did question and answer recently, and people asked so many questions. So we are going to go through these questions, and also we are going to cover some very important topics. So if you're new here, please remember to hit that subscribe button down below and join this gang. Thank you for coming by, and hope you stay. Share so that your friends, your family visit and follows us as well. If you're a returning subscriber, asanteni sana, karibu tena. Welcome to this gang, and hope you're learning, and hope you're getting motivated, and hope there's something you're taking home from these videos. So today, what are we doing?
I think we're doing migrating to Australia.
We are doing migrating to Australia. We've done this video before, but there's so many new changes that has happened since then. After COVID, everything has changed, and we've decided to cover what are the new changes. And if you've not watched our first video, go back, search and look for Migrating to Australia and watch that one. It is a few things have changed, so this is gonna be an updated of that. But then stay tuned. Hope you love this video. Subscribe.
Yep.
What else? Hope you you get all the answers you want. So before or without wasting time, I'm going to start with our first question. So what I'm going to do is, my husband is very, very knowledgeable with migration questions, and I'll be asking and he'll be answering. And if I feel like I've got something to add, I will add. But then we've got some amazing news. Do you want us to share on this video?
Yeah, maybe at the end of the video.
Okay, so we've got news, guys. Stay back, share, so you know what has been happening in our life. Yeah. So guys, I'm gonna just go straight on to the questions. And the first question I had here, and there was so many questions just with the same content, so nikaamua tu kuichukua once nani nika refresh. So the first question is, can you please explain leads on how to get to Australia? Any leads how to get to Australia?
Yeah, so as I've realized also in my socials, I've realized I've gotten a lot of people requesting me, Nick, can you just allow me to come there and work as a hairdresser, or take care of your kids as a nanny, and just nominate me to come on a visitor's visa. And I've been telling people, like, Australia is really strict in terms of their borders, and if you want to visit Australia, if you want to come to Australia on a student visa, if you want to come on Australia on a work visa, you have to have the right documents. If you don't have the right documents, your visa will be refused. So basically, there are different ways of migrating to Australia. Number one being the most whatever with Kenyans is student visa. So this is whereby you
the easiest and the fastest.
Yeah, so this is whereby you obtain an offer letter from a university. You provide to the university your documentation. For example, if you've had a diploma in Kenya and you have some work experience, you apply to be for bachelor's degree. If you've had bachelor's in Kenya, you apply for a master's. If you had master's by coursework in Kenya, you can apply master's by research or PhD and higher levels. So depending on the levels that you are back home, you can apply a higher level, because the Australian government doesn't allow, they will not grant you visa if you want to, they will not grant you visa.
Visa,
They will not grant you visa if you want to downgrade. So it is not allowed, because that is you are not becoming a genuine entrant or genuine temporary student. So for them, they want you to be ready to show that you're genuine, whereby you want to progress your career in education. And believe me, you can't say that you are moving from a diploma to a certificate. That is not progress. That is going downward. So that is one of the main areas that people focus when they want to migrate to Australia. That is the student visa. Option two is work visa, whereby the work visa you come in as a skilled migrant. So there are avenues whereby you can migrate to Australia on a skilled visa. So it is a process that has to be followed, whereby you have to have your skill assessed and then be deemed as a skilled migrants. So there are bodies, for example, with IT, there is Australian Computer Society. If you are an engineer, there is Engineers Board of Australia. If you are with other sectors or other professionals like mine, which is statistician, agriculture, you go through VETA-SAYS. So through VETA-SAYS, whereby you provide them with all the evidence that you have ever worked, because that is when they can be able to deem you as a skilled migrant. You have to provide evidence that, okay, Mr. Nicky Boit has worked Kenya National Bureau of Statistics for this period of time. Here is the evidence of payslips. Here is the evidence of inaitwa nini pension here, superannuation ya huku, pension. Here is the evidence of NSSF, NHIF, everything. You have to provide letter of contract. You have to get a statement of service from the employer, akilist kwamba this person has been working for us for this period of time, and we believe that this is some of the duties and responsibilities. And therefore Australian system, the Australian government has really created they have listed all there's something called the skilled occupation list. If you go to skilled occupation list, you'll find all the occupations that are on demand. So that means that imekuwa very, Australia is demand of that, of that skill. So they usually would want anyone who is onshore or offshore to apply, and they will, believe you me, they will treat you fairly.
So just maybe stop you so that I don't forget this question. So is this skill occupation list found in Google so that people can go and Google? Because I know the next question is, where can we find the skill occupation list?
Yeah, skill occupation list is on Google. You can just Google skilled updated or the most current skill occupation list for Australia. You can say 2025 and it can give you, because it's reviewed after some time, because there are occupations that the government sometimes feel like they are no longer needed, or there's enough people in Australia to fill in those positions. So before they develop the skill occupation, this is something that the multi-sector, whereby the business, the education sector, the government, they sit down and then they decide, they're like, we have this number of occupations, we need accountants, we need 10,000 accountants. At the moment we have advertised these jobs in Australia, there is no one to fill, we really need to go offshore or overseas to be able to get these occupations. So that is how the government sit down and then they come up with this system, and then they come up with a cap whereby they say we want to have 189 visas, 190 visas, 491 visas. So that is how they sit down and break it down. So yeah, that is how it. So you can find the skill.
So you can find it on the Google guide. So just Google if your occupation is on the skill list, and then you can go forward with the process to apply for skilled migration.
So option 1, student visa. Option 2, skill. And also through skill, I forgot, you can get a sponsor. So mostly I've seen people who are walimu, the teachers. I'm seeing a lot of them getting sponsored. So what happens with sponsorship is you would do a skill assessment. Once you do a skill assessment, you get it as positive. You talk to, so for example, you apply for job. So the school would demand your CV. They would demand your your current employment letter. They would demand your certificate, that is degree certificate or masters, and then they would demand your English requirements. So usually they focus on speaking and listening as 8, and then I think reading and writing as 7.0, but I will check that. So once you are deemed kwamba you have that, you've met the requirements, then the sponsor can take care of everything. They will apply your visa, and then it's just up to you to get the grant. And then initially, kitambo, you had to work for the employer for 3 years, but now it has been reviewed. I'm pretty sure if it's not 1 year, it's 2 years, but I will check that as well, because I need to be updated with that. But I think at the moment it has been reviewed to either 1 or 2 years. Initially it used to be 3 years. Nowadays you have to work for that specific employer. But you are dependent. That is, for example, if I've been sponsored by Clyde Primary School to work here, I will only focus on working for Clyde. And you and Nihal can be able to do anything. You can work in as a nurse, you can work as disability, as long as you meet any requirements. But me as Nikki, I'll only work for that because they have sponsored me from overseas to migrate to Australia. So that is option 3.
So what are some of the courses that can qualify for sponsorship? or some of the
Profession.
occupational professions that
Occupation.
can
Mostly at the moment, I've seen people migrate. I've seen people migrate teachers because it's really on demand. Most of the regionals of Australia, whereby a lot of people don't want to go and work there, so they tend to bring people from overseas. They sponsor them, they work for them, and then they give you PR after that. And I've seen the aged cares whereby they are the PCAs, but I'm not sure how it's going at the moment because they have to sign an industry labor between the employer and the government before they can be able to be allowed to sponsor. So aged care nurses mostly, still nurses.
Registered nurses.
If you go to regions like Catherine, Darwin, Alice Spring,
but I've seen even nurses are coming even to like around Victoria or something like that.
Victoria,
from the
but
UK mostly.
probably that is an exchange program because usually the UK and Ireland sometimes they do an exchange program, but still they can sponsor nurses. But what I've realized is most of the time when they sponsor nurses to work in the regional, like for example, regional Victoria. They want, because most people they want to be comfortable in the metro, to work around the city. So no one would want to go and work.
They've got enough workers in metro.
Yeah, so
no
probably when they are doing the sponsorship, they bring people from offshore. They want them to go and work there. At least you work there for some time, and then you get your PR. So most occupations that I've seen mostly getting sponsors
and chef
teachers, chef, teachers, chefs, social workers, and nurses. That is the ones that I've seen at the moment. The government is focusing on. The government of Australia has really focused on since the beginning, and it will never stop because social workers are very key in the Australian.
Even the dietitians as well. But guys, let Google be your friend. You can go there and Google any other country you want to go and see if they have sponsorships. So just make Google your friends. You can just Google and say, can I find sponsorship in this course in Australia or in this occupation in Australia, and then see if those jobs are available on Google. So I think that will be the best because we don't have really good information about sponsorships, especially from Kenya or something like that. But we've seen other people being sponsored while they're here with even engineering, IT. There's so many chefs that have been sponsored, personal care workers, social workers, especially those that are community workers. And I think there's so many information that we've missed as Kenyans on how to become a permanent resident here in Australia. There's so many avenues and we only focus on one thing, nursing or social workers. And I think we need to a bit broaden our searches and broaden our communication and information so that we know all the other avenues, because if you find here even Indians are coming or other people are coming from their countries with construction, all these other handy occupations.
I think I've finished all the avenues, but the visitors visa initially people could come in on visitors visa, and after that they are able to obtain a student visa or start life in Australia. But at the moment you are not allowed.
Is illegal.
Yeah, of course. I'm saying initially it was allowed.
Initially it was allowed.
You can take your places.
That's okay. So initial people were coming as visitors, and then they would, and then they would change their visas. But now it's not allowed. It's deemed as illegal, and most of the visitors I've seen coming now is mostly parents or close family members.
I think those are the key avenues. Either be sponsored, either come in as a skilled migrant, either come in as a student visa. So I think those are the three key ways of getting here.
So can you please even tell them for what do we call for visitor visa, what is the requirements and age group and stuff like that?
So I think visitors visa is so straightforward. So there is the e-visitor whereby you're coming in on the 600 visa, which is the most common visa. I will talk about that. So here you come in and you have to have what do you call, like, relation with the person that is inviting you, and then they have to have list of list of activities that you're coming to do in Australia. For example, if if your parent is coming for your graduation, you have to provide a graduation invite, or the ticket for your graduation and letter of completion from university. If you have your parents wanting to visit, or your brother, you have to provide. But they are very strict and very keen, more so for the young people, because I think initially people in the past abused the system in terms of wanting to come in and then stay longer. So nowadays I've introduced a clause of no further stay. Like, it's written on the visa, like once your visa ends, you have to exit, and then if you want to reapply either on a student visa or any other visa, you can reapply. So I think initially it was allowed, but now the rules have changed, and then there's no further stay in the visitors visa. Yeah. So,
and I think also for visitors visa to be really considered, given that visa, they also see your age, they see your occupation, what ties you've got to your home country, and like for possibility of you to return. So they, like, if you're someone that has a very good job, you have very good business, you have what do we call you have like a lot of properties and something like that, you'll be in a higher chance of getting the visa even if you're young. But mostly young, like older people, are very have high chances of getting the visitor visa, because they know they will go back. So that is like, they just want that guarantee that after coming to Australia, are you really gonna go back, just so that you don't abuse the system. Alrighty, I think that's some of the different ways on how to get to Australia. On the second question, how can someone from a different country start to come? We've answered that one. I don't know why I wrote it there. Touch on the skill assessment. If possible, recommend a legit migration agent.
I think at the moment, most of the agents that I know in Kenya, they don't do skill assessments. Like, most of the people that have been asking me questions in regards to migrating to Australia as a skilled migrant, I've been telling them to do it themselves, because it's so easy, so straightforward. You go into the system, as long as you know the body that relates to your occupation. If you're a nurse, you're going to do APRA. There's some NCLEX and exam and stuff. There's plenty of things that will be done. As a social worker, you have to just go into the ACWA, that is Association of I'm not sure if it's the Association of Community Workers Australia. I think it's ACWA, who can deem you skilled. If you're a statistician or some of these other analyst courses, you go through VETASES. If you're IT, cyber security, you go through Australian Computer Society. So it's way straightforward. It's just a matter of you knowing which is a body that assesses your skill and your occupation. And then I would say that at the moment I wouldn't recommend any migration, but at the end of this video you will realize
we've got an answer.
Yeah, we've got an answer for that, and you can be able to.
So watch till the end.
Yeah, watch till the end. You'll be able to find solution for that. Yeah.
So also for the migration. My skilled migration, I just wanted you to explain on how to, like, for example, you did statistics, but what occupation were you deemed? Because did you do a skill assessment on statistics?
Yeah, I wonder that you even don't know which occupation I went to.
I don't remember, but I know, that's why I'm saying you did statistics, but we didn't go with statistics.
We went to statistics.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because, like, for example, if you did statistics and statistics is not on the list, and something like data analyst is on the list, or something related, or mathematician or something like that, like.
Yeah, so how it works is, for example, I did bachelor's of applied statistics back home, and then when I migrated to Australia, I came in to study master of analytics. So when I was looking at the skill, for which skill I should go with the occupation, I was looking at the aspects in terms of, how many number of people are competing for that occupation, and then the requirements, which is the, which was the best route for me to be able to use to be able to get, that skilled migration process. So if you go to vertices, mathematician, actuarians, and statisticians are assessed the same. So anything, if you've been working in Kenya as a statistician or mathematician or actuaries, when you go and apply for skill assessment, you can be able to get to be an actuarist or to be a statistician or to be deemed like a mathematician. So the process was, I just provided evidence of the payslip as I talked about, statement of service from my employer, evidence that I've been paying pension or superannuation, and the dates that I've been working and the contract letter. Those are the only things that I provided, plus my own CV. And after a while, I was able to get a positive skill assessment because they went and assessed and be like, yeah, this is right, this is okay, this is what he studied in undergraduate, this is what he studied with a master's, they relate. This occupation that he's doing and is almost same as what has been listed there. So that is basically how they do. So for example, if you are an agricultural specialist, it's broad. Agriculture is broad, so you could be a seed specialist, you could be a crop and whatever, you could be an agricultural technician, you could be agribusiness, you could, there's plenty of things. Therefore, it's up to you to be able to go in there and to be able to have a look and be like, yeah, I think this occupation suits whatever I'm working or whatever I'm doing at the moment, and then you can be able to be like, I'm going with this occupation. So it's just a matter of yourself going in there, looking at the occupation, looking at what has been listed. Are they matching with what you are doing? Do you have evidence for that? Yeah, and then you go with that.
Yeah. So you don't have to really if like you're an agricultural officer, you don't have to really go and look for agricultural officer. You can look for something that is relating to that. And if you're in Australia, it doesn't hurt to do skill assessment. It doesn't yes, you cannot make you broke. It cannot disqualify you, or it cannot kunyima visa. So just do it. If you've been in Kenya, you worked for how many years and you've got a bit of experience, just do it. You never know. I've got so many people that have been here for more than 5 or 6 years, and they eventually went back and did skill assessment from their experience back in Kenya. Nando wamepata sahi after being and struggling here for more than 5 or 7 years even. So if you are here and you have experience in whatsoever place you are, just do that skill assessment. You can't start applying for any permanent residence unless you've got skill assessment. The moment you've got skill assessment, you've got all the tools, or you can start getting all the tools for you to be a permanent resident in Australia. So do the risk. The risk is so worth it. It is so annoying if you've already finished your school, bado unang'ang'ana hujafanya ALTS, hujafanya. Someone even was sending me that, why are you not looking for Google online, utafute jobs, utafute sponsorships. You are not even doing ALTS. You are not even looking on ways to get to be a permanent resident. Please do something with yourself. We are just not here to be comfortable, because most of us we've been comfortable. This country now, the rules are changing, and if you become comfortable, it is so easy for you to go back home without nothing. So please, just be confident with yourself. Whatever you've got, you never know what that thing can take you. Just use what you've got now to start the process of becoming a permanent resident. Okay?
Yep.
Hope we answer. So the migration agent, stay tuned until the end of the video.
Yep.
The second question, can you reapply? The other question, or many questions, can you reapply if you ever got a student visa refusal? And how many student visa refusals can you get?
That's a hard question because you're allowed to reapply. You're allowed to reapply for student visa. And usually when they refuse your visa, they will give you reasons why. For example, if it's your bank statement was not showing a clear relationship between your sponsor and yourself, or your documents were not, the case officer maybe felt that your documents were not, they were not right, or there's plenty of things that they can refuse, of your health or your character, maybe your police check, lots of things. So
mostly it's bank statements.
Yeah, bank statements. So I would say that the most important thing, you're allowed to reapply, or the GT at the moment, the GST, genuine student whatever entrant. So it's just a matter of you knowing, I made a mistake this time, I got a visa refusal. This next time I'm going to do, try my level best to provide everything that was needed. So you can still reapply and be able to get. I'm not sure about the number of limits, but I know that some people, if they have received banned, they have been banned. They have been banned. Some of them have been. They have not been banned. Some of them have been whatever for 3 years.
For 3 years, like you can. I think after I don't know how many visa refusal you get. What do we call it? Is it banning or something that you can't reapply again for 3 years? But that one is not a legit information. We have not really researched about it. But then, yes, so long as you've gone back, you've sat down, just reflected on what mistake you did previously and what change are you going to do now before you reapply. Just don't reapply with the same information and stuff like that. Yes, you can reapply to Australia. How to transition RN, how to transition Kenyan RN to practice in Australia, or how to do masters in nursing.
I think probably the topic of nursing we can cover it in our next video, because it's really broad. And initially, I know some of my friends who've gotten PR at the moment through the NCLEX exam and stuff. Initially, there was that allowance that you could come in on a master's visa or another bachelor's, and then as long as you have your bachelor's from back home, you can be able to go into a 12-week program, or I can't remember, 2 months program or 3 months program, and then you sit a number of tests, you do English, and then you're deemed a registered nurse. But there's been a number of changes,
a change now.
And therefore I don't want to talk about that. I think it's better for me to research with the people who are really maneuver through that, and they are really informed. They can be able to give us information about that, and then we can come and share.
So if you are on Instagram, go and check out Chemu Maritime. She's got very, very detailed information of how to transition from Kenya. I'll just read it quickly. So the first one, you need to submit your qualification to IQNM, do a self-check. You pay an assessment fee of $640. Upload your documents to AFRA, do NCLEX. It's a 10 weeks program. This is from 2022. Is it still the same?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. It's
And then do NCLEX, cross over to Australia, do OSCE, $4,000, and then you pay for Australian registration and do the e-learning modules, and probably that is how. For qualified registered nurses, get a good service certificate from your employer. This later outlines the number of hours you worked, which departments you worked in, and your roles and responsibilities as an RN. Also, get a good standing certificate from NCK. It's $12K, and they send it directly to AFRA. They know the process. They'll guide you. Ukifika hapo, make sure you do NCLEX exams. If you are planning to come directly, not as a student, this process is specifically for experienced nurses. Okay, use the link. Submit all the documents, including passport, English exam, RN license, etc. Then the page will proceed to the next level, which is the assessment. I repeat, if you are planning to do the self-check process without an agent, then you have to do NCLEX exams. Yeah, that is it actually. Yeah, I think if you're on Instagram, just check out Chemu Taros or Chemu Maritime. I am not very, very conversant with people migrating from other countries to do RN here. We are really, really not conversant with that, because my husband has done a lot of research on STEM.
Yeah,
and
maths and stuff.
Yeah, maths and things like that. But then RN, I think I will get someone to come and talk to us with RN perspective here, because there's so many questions. I got like 7 questions of RN wanting to migrate from UK or or Kenya. So yeah, we'll cover that. I promise. I'll get someone who is very, very, very knowledgeable on that. Okay. The next question: how hard or easy to relocate with a child? Is it allowed? Is it advisable? How are the schools and financial stress on bringing up kids in Australia?
I think this question
Cover that.
is a personal choice. I would say it's a personal question. Depends on the situation. So, for example, you want to migrate here as a student, and then you've left maybe your wife and children back home, and then once you've settled around and you feel like you're comfortable for your family to join you, you are more than free to have them join you. And yeah, the schools here are very nice, very flexible. They are very accommodative. They will never refuse you best because you're just on a student visa. They will give an offer letter because that is actually one of the requirements of the on the student visa conditions that your dependents must go to school. You cannot
If
bring
they're
a
of school attend or school age,
yeah. If you can't bring your children and then you do like
you have to
homeschooling.
show them that you've got already a COE for them to
Yeah.
come and start school.
So schools
From
here
7 years and above.
is basically, it's just like back home, but now there are a few things like in terms of picking up your child, dropping them off, and it's not like home where it depends on where you come from. So it's not I wouldn't say that it's easy, but as long as you're financially okay for your family to join you, your kids, you can provide, you can rent a house well, you can find a school maybe close to where you live, and yeah, it's possible. And you can have your student. For example, me and my wife, we had a girl born while I was still on my when I was still back in uni, and we survived through, we maneuvered, and all along she enrolled to school, she's going to school up to now. So it is possible, I would say. So it's just a matter of you planning yourself, knowing that I'm comfortable enough for my family to join me. And then, yeah, you can just follow up the aspects. You can inquire from people who have done so before. And yeah.
I think I will also want to clarify a little bit about it. I will repeat because I've done this in another interview, and I said if you want to relocate with a child, first come to Australia by yourself or you and your spouse first. Come, set up the pace, tafuta nyumba, be comfortable, tafuta job, mwanze, because it's very hard to settle na mtoto because there's so much involved with a child, especially young kids of like 12 and below. So maybe you come first, make sure mmekuwa comfortable, mmepata majobs, job zenu zina work vizuri, your school is working well, and then after you are comfortable, mko na nyumba yenu, mmesettle vizuri, then you can bring your child. And now it's very easy. You can bring your child with your parents. So it's not going to be a very hard task or something like that. So your parents can come and take care of them while you go to work as well. So it's not expensive to have children here because children don't eat a lot. School is, this is your child. It will be expensive, but then this is your child. If you want to be with them, you have to go the extra cost. And schools are good depending on where or which school you got. So when you get here, do the research, and you'll find people here, and you ask them. We are here. Ask us what schools are good for the kids. We are not so sure, but we still keep trying. That is it for that. And also, if you are new here, we've done an interview about being a parent in Australia, so you can go around and look for that as well. The second question is, does 20 hours of work for international students give enough to pay school fees?
Yes, I would say that because that's a requirement, and by the time you are coming here, you have been asked by the government of Australia to provide evidence that you can be able to sufficiently provide for yourself, to pay for the fees, to pay for rent and stuff. So as long as you know the reasons why you are here, and I wouldn't want to hesitate or to lie to you that breaching the visa condition is the last thing you would want to do, because believe you me, it's not the right thing. Yeah, it's not safe. So plan yourself ahead before you apply for the visa. Know that the government of Australia is 24 hours a week or 48 hours a fortnight. And you really need to ensure that you have adhered to that condition, because that is one of the conditions that is been attached to your visa. So depending on how much you're going, I don't want to talk about that. It's up to you to plan ahead, knowing that I'm coming from home, I'm supposed to pay this, I'm supposed to do this, I'm supposed to do this. yeah, it's just a matter of you planning yourself and knowing that you cannot breach any visa condition.
And to tell you, Australian government does not expect that you are coming to work to pay school fees. They know that you are able to pay your school fees. That's why they ask you for your bank statement with certain amount of money to make sure that you've got the money to cover you until you finish uni. So kuambia mimi hata sitaki kuongelea hiyo maneno kwa hii channel because saa hii huku maneno imekuwa ngumu, but anyways, ukifika huku unakuwa mjanja. Sitaki ukifika tu huku utajua. Anyways, but to cut the long story short, you cannot break this the 20 hours working condition. The other question, how can you join your spouse who never added you to their initial application?
So if you want to join your spouse who never added you to initial visa, number one, you have to, because you have to provide evidence kwamba you are
married,
you are partners or you are married, or there's something that binds you to. And most of the time, whatever Australian government has always been requiring is at least a marriage certificate or a de facto affidavit that you swear before the Attorney General, or any paperwork or any documentation that is legit that can ascertain that you two people are in a relationship. So, for example, if I migrated to Australia and I never mentioned that I'm married to Sheila, what I would basically do is I would travel back home, go and do the official thing, get married to her. We are going to the Attorney General chambers with Malize to find any show up or pre-wedding and stuff, and then I come back to Australia, so that when I'll be applying the visa, I'll be like, yeah, when I came here I was single, but along the way I found someone and my status changed, and this is the evidence, and I want to bring that person. And the government of Australia will be like, yeah, this guy has traveled back home, he has done this, he has done this, and this is what is happening. So basically that is it in a nutshell. Like, there's no other way. Hakuna ujanja ingine yenye unaweza sema tu unaweza leta your spouse if you don't provide evidence that, because kama ulitoka Kenya 2024 December na huko umelist mtu wako 2025 mwezi wa 4 unakuja una produce marriage certificate, unasema nilikuwa nimeoa, believe you me, hiyo mtapata visa refusal, because the government asema kama ulikuwa na mtu, mbona huko umemweka from the word go. So it's just a matter of you kuonyesha ukweli na kusema the truth kwamba this is what has happened, my status has changed, and I went back home, I've married that person, and I want them to join me in Australia, and they will grant them visa or not depending on your case, depending on how reasons or whatever you have provided. Yeah,
that is it. The other question is, someone's got diploma in clinical medicine and does not have a license yet, and they want to relocate. Can they come to Australia and through student visa, or can they come as work?
Diploma in clinical medicine is not diploma in clinical medicine is I would say is not deemed as a doctor. I don't know, because I don't know how that course was introduced in Kenya, but I don't want to comment mostly about the health sector, because sure, but people that I know that have come here, I have like 4 people who are clinical officers. They had done diploma in clinical medicine back home. They were like CEOs or mefanya hospitali, but when they came here, they had to start direct as Bachelor of Nurses or Bachelor of Midwifery or Bachelor of what. Yani, they had to do something that related to that, and then probably you can get the exemptions, you can get all those things, credits and stuff, and then it can reduce your years of study. But migrating here as a clinical medicine, I'm not sure. I don't think that occupation is in the skill occupation list, but probably I can do research about that and be able to answer that while in our next video, when we'll be talking about the migrating as a nurse to Australia. So clinical medicine, I don't think it's recognized in Australia, like in terms of you coming and pursuing a bachelor's or doing skill assessment. I don't think so. But then I don't want to say 100% I'm sure. I'll just do some research and then I'll come back with that.
This an age. What is the age limit for studying in Australia, and what is the advisable age?
Yeah, I think studying in Australia at the moment, it's becoming a challenge to get a visa if you are aged 30 and above, because it's become, because looking at the graduate visa, once you are 35 years of age, you can't get a graduate visa. Like, you can't get postgraduate work rights. That means that after you finish your studies, you either re-enroll to another master. If you are doing masters, you enroll to PhD, or you exit Australia. But initially, anyone was able to get graduate visa up to 45, between 45 and 48 years of age. So at the moment, they are very strict. It's 35 years of age, no graduate visa. So in fact, they are trying to, because with the changes in the system, it's really hard. People have realized, there are people, if you go to an agent at the moment and akuona ulizaliwa 91, 90, and I'm sorry, I don't think you'll get a visa, because they already know that this person will finish studies na by the time anamaliza hata atapata graduate visa ya kupractice or to look around and to apply for jobs and stuff. So my advice would be, the person that is over 30, look at other options in terms of the skilled migration, because these people believe that you have completed uni at 23, 24. So between 24 and 30, you should have worked in the sector, and you should be planning to come here on, as a skilled migrant. So, but I don't want to loosen your hope. Like, you can still try a chance. You never know, because as long as I've told you, visa case is about you convincing them, telling them that, yeah, I'm a genuine student. I've practiced this. I've practiced for these years. I've done this. And I feel that I did not have enough time for me to study then, but I'm ready now to study. Yeah, they will look at your case. They will grant you visa. They might decide not to grant you visa. That will be up to them. But what I want to say is, the age limit for students at the moment is between 30 and 35 in terms of bachelor's or master's. But if you are doing master's by research and PhD, up to 45 years of age or up to 50 years of age, you are allowed. But skilled migrant, the same, under 50 years of age at least, between 45 and 50. So if you're coming in as a teacher, if you're coming in as a social worker, you're coming in and ensure that you are at least below 45 years of age. That is when you'll be able, because they believe, once you're over 45, for them, they assume that huyu mtu amekuwa mkubwa sana na hatakuwa productive, because they are bringing you to produce, they are bringing you to work, they are not bringing you to
want a working age.
They want to bring you here, and then umefika mgongo inauma nini, such cases. So that's why they have deemed age between over 18 or 21 to around 45. So if you're around 40 and you can apply for masters by research or PhD, you can still be allowed. And then if you want to come in as a skilled migrant, remember 45 years of age is the maximum. But that could be one of the person. For example, if I'm 50 and Sheila is 44, Sheila can be able to apply and be able to grade, and then as a dependent, there is no limit for that. But the main applicant is the one that has the limit of age. Yeah.
So guys, this video has gone very, very long. I didn't expect it to be this long. We are gonna cut this, and then we'll do a part 2 of this, and then we will all come with the good news, agents that you can use to travel to Australia. That will be on the next video, and all the other rules that have just happened recently. So stay tuned, and our second video will come up soon. Otherwise, thanks for watching this video, guys. We love you so much. All the best in your process as you start to apply and inquire about moving to Australia. Cheers.